Back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Ayodele Adewale, APC Chieftain Political Affairs Analyst, is my guest tonight as I continue to get more insight into the political dynamics ahead of the 2027 presidential election. Thank you so much for staying with us, Mr.
Thank you for having me.
So before we went on that break, you insinuated or outrightly said that former Governor El-Rufai faulted. You said he offended the party. In what ways?
I did not insinuate.
You said you outrightly said
I didn't insinuate. I said his statement and his act is a mere distraction in response to your question, right? And I also opine that the president and his team are working in line with the promises they made to Nigerians during the electoral campaign, and of course in line with the programs of the APC, right? As we speak, there are a lot of projects that are being carried out. The Lagos-Calabar Express Road is there. The Lagos-Sokoto Express Road is there. Just this week, or was it last week, they've also hit the ground to reconstructing and expanding the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. Recently, there's a PPP project that have started in Edo State, right? From Benin, the Benin-Asaba, right? Expressway is going on. The agricultural support program is going on. The student loan has kicked off and is very robust. The First Lady is also carrying out her projects and program all across the country. And so many other things are working on. On security is work in progress. A lot of things are being done. Yes, there are gaps. Yes, there are new crises that is blowing up. The governors are up on their games. The president is giving more support in that regard. The oil and gas sector is being reworked and all of that. We thank God for the Dangote refinery that's up and doing. Naira for oil is continuing, and that has led to the crashing of oil price and all whatnot. So a lot of things are going for the better for the country. But it is not yet Uhuru. Absolutely. A lot of things need to be done, right? So if Mr. El-Rufai is carrying out on with his own belief, right, for us is a distraction, and we must not be distracted from the said objective, which is to make Nigeria great again.
All right, so if you say that Malam El-Rufai, who is no longer a member of the party, is a distraction, is Ali Ndume also a distraction? Is Rotimi Amechi also a distraction? Because I mean, Ali Ndume is someone who is a member of your party, still a member of your party, but chooses to criticize the party openly like a stranger. We also have Rotimi Amechi, who has also been speaking, and there are reports indicating that members of the defunct CPC are planning to move out of the APC. How united is the APC at the moment?
The APC is very united and strong, very, very strong and united. People have rights within their conviction to act in the line in which they choose to act, right? But what matters more is the majority of the people that are walking in line and in tandem with the promises, electoral promises that they've given to Nigerians, and of course supporting the president to achieve all of these electoral promises in making Nigeria great again. In politics, in human adventures, human development, you cannot remove the fact of personal convictions, right? If they choose to walk along those trajectory, that is part of freedom of rights and democratic ethos. But what matters more, like I told you, is for members of the APC to support the president, his team and his administration in order to achieve the best for all Nigerians.
Yeah, but Ali Ndume is a member of the party and is senator at that. How do you feel like he constantly or continues to, openly criticize this administration?
It is from the standpoint of his view, right? He has his right to say that.
As a top member of the party.
He has his right to say that.
I hear that.
But again, this must be backed up with proven facts. I'm here not to join issues, right?
I hear you.
I'm here to say that the president is doing very well and his team, that Nigerians should support him. Areas where they feel that more needs to be done. That is why it's a democracy. You're free to come up and give suggestion, right, to the administration. They pick from that. They add to what they have on the plow, and they continue to do better.
But does it not call for a deep reflection of the ruling party?
I don't understand what you mean.
if persons or someone like Senator Aliu Ndume, Rotimi Amechi, continue to openly criticize the administration, this administration, and the party which they currently belong, does that not call for a deep reflection of the ideals of the APC?
That's democratic process for you, right? They come with their own belief. They come with their own saying. The administration also come with facts of what they have done in order to mirror what they have said and put it in the right perspective. That what they have said is not what the fact is. The fact is that we are doing our best. The fact is that we are creating jobs. The fact is that we are working on the economy to get better. The fact is that we are working with all of the state actors to making sure that we provide security across all borders, right? The fact is that we're improving on Nigeria's image in the diaspora and within the country itself. The fact is that we have opened up to freedom of rights. I mean, there are some countries that the government will gag people from speaking or even critiquing it. But this government is very, very open, allowing people to say what they want to say, and they also come in turn to showcase what they have done in order to prove to the people that they are not sleeping and they are not doing what is not.
But does it bother you that there is a brewing coalition to oust the APC government, spearheaded by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar?
For me, it doesn't bother me. What bothers me the most is how we are going to work very strongly in order to bring down the exchange, right, to 1 digit. What bothers me the more is that we should work so hard in order to make sure that we surpass our electoral promises by making sure that everybody have the capacity to produce in accordance with their ability and get satisfaction. What bothers me more is that we work so hard to provide security that will guarantee lives and property beyond what we have now. That is what bothers me the more, not just what people throw up in order to create some sense of distraction.
You know, PDP governors recently said the party is not interested in any coalition or merger. Were you surprised with that statement? I'm
not surprised. They're only being realistic. Look, the Calabar-Lagos highway, right, started from Lagos. The president is methodic, right? A lot of people were saying, no, let's start from the south and all of that. Of course, he has it in plan. Just about 2 days ago, they've hit ground from the Cross River Enclave all the way down to the Akwa Ibom area, and they're also going to hit ground in Bayelsa, right, coming forward. These are things that a lot of people have been talking about, and the president listened to them, but he had only walked the talk in strategic movement because he had plans for that. Now he has opened those areas. What do you think will happen? More jobs will be created, more wealth will be distributed, and more opportunities will come into those areas. Likewise for other project areas that have been opened up, right? And these are in the jurisdiction area of PDP government. The president is not working his administration solely for APC. The president is working the administration for Nigerians, regardless of political parties or ideological bends, and that is what matters more.
You know, Chief Bode George recently said the PDP would be a dead party if former Vice President Atiku Abubakar becomes the presidential flag bearer of the party in 2027. Is that an advantage for the APC?
That is their own kettle of fish, right? The advantage for APC is to satisfy all Nigerians. It is the Nigerian people that will vote for the president to come back.
That's the major opposition party in the country. And
from your standpoint, right? Some people might say, oh, it's Mr. Peter Obi. Some people might say, oh, it's Mr. Kwankwanso, right?
Those are individuals. I'm talking about parties.
Some people might, even parties. Some people might say it's LP, right? Judging from what they got the last time. Some people might say it's the LP. But what matters more for the APC is to making sure that we deliver all our deliverables, right, for us to continue to move the country forward and to get more votes in 2027.
What do you think is wrong with the PDP?
I don't know. I'm not a PDP member.
It doesn't matter. I mean, this is ahead of 2027.
Let them go solve their problem. I don't want to dampen into their problem. That's their own internal affair. Let's leave them, you understand, to whatever that is bordering within them, right? Let's focus on Nigeria, for Nigerians, and for the APC to continue to give good governance to our people.
All right, Mr. Adewale, for the next few minutes, I want you to pretend as if you're not a member of the APC. Can we do that?
It's not possible. So, it's not possible.
Okay, let's try. Let's try.
You can't.
Let's try.
Look,
this brewing coalition.
You cannot sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yes, but
right?
let's try. This brewing coalition, do you see a situation where these men would be able to display a genuine commitment to putting the nation's needs above their personal political aspirations?
Come back again.
The coalition, this brewing coalition, spearheaded by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, with the kinds of political figures on that table, do you see a situation where these men will be able to display a genuine commitment to putting the nation's needs above their own personal political aspirations?
You must understand that a zebra cannot change its stripes.
Okay.
These guys have been there since 1999, right? They had a very long term.
And at different times, they were former members of APC.
They had a very long term, about 16 years or thereabout, to make this country much greater and better, right? With the profoundest of respect to everybody, I'm trying to be kind with words. The Nigerian resources, the Nigerian wealth, when we had the opportunity, was not well utilized. If it was well utilized, by now we should have 24 hours of uninterrupted power supply. By now, a lot of the projects, right, gigantic projects, monumental projects that President Bola Tinubu has embarked on, he would not have been doing that, right? He could have been sustaining what he met and trying to open up more for the expansion of Nigeria. But right now, is reworking the foundation of the economy, the security, and the prosperity of this country, right? This shows that these managers of our resources in time past have not done well. It is still the same people that are there, that are clamoring to come back into power. And Nigerians are not quick to forget about what had happened to them in the past. That is why I've said that a zebra cannot change its stripes.
And some Nigerians would also say, before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC had 8 years to address these challenges. I mean, former President Muhammadu Buhari was also president of this country.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did address. Yes, we did address those issues.
So, I mean,
under President Buhari, the Nigerian Constitution was reworked to the extent that a lot of powers was brought back to the state. Right now, state can produce energy, unlike before. When I was local government chairman, right, in Amuwo-Odofin, I tried to produce energy for the local government. As at that time, right, we got 20 hectares of land at Inogbe Lado, right, and we were to start from 2 megahertz and scale it up to 5 within 4 years. But the law prevented us to the extent that we have to generate and put it into the national grid. If that wasn't there, we would have gone far. When Asiwaju was governor, he worked with Enron. He tried to work with Enron to produce energy for Lagos. The Constitution did not allow him. When Governor Fashola was there, he created IPP, power plants, right? The same Constitution said that he could not cover for Lagos, but they allowed him to only focus on state, what was it called now? State utilities, like schools, like hospitals, and all whatnot, right? Those are, that particular angle that President Buhari was able to unbundle, right, is a milestone for this country. I've not also talked about the infrastructure that he also
sadly, we do not have time for that, but I'm sure we'll continue this conversation some other time. APC Chieftain, Political Affairs Analyst, Ayodele Adewale, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke W using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night, everyone.